Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Attack on Titan. Last time on Attack on Titan, we had Lost Girls Walsina Goodbye Part 2, where Annie was still working on the investigation of Carly Stratman, and was dealing with some things that were a bit more than she bargained for. Some deaths, which she couldn't report the deaths, mainly because it would end up basically costing her too much time, and she had work to do the next day. So, but eventually, she came face to face with the people that did kidnap Carly, and completely and utterly destroyed them, with a little bit of Lean Jean in there too, and then found Carly, returned her, actually helped her escape out of, I guess, past Walsina, or head up to the capital, and figured out everything. And instead of reporting everything that Carly and her father were doing, she just, helped end the situation quietly, because she couldn't be bothered to do that, because she had work to do, and at the end, she was on her way to go do her very important mission, which was to capture Eren Yeager during the 57th Exterior Scouting Mission. So yeah, this is the last of the OVAs, which is interesting. I kind of wish we had more of these, honestly. Like, these have been really, really fun. But yeah, I notice here that in the title, this one is also a Lost Girls episode, but I don't know if this will be continuing with Annie or if it's going to be something else. I have no idea. I don't know how much this will tie into the last two OVAs we had, but yeah. Probably soon. I don't know when this is going up per se, but probably sometime around when this episode is going up on YouTube. Season 4 is probably going to be coming back in the dub, so I don't know if there's going to be like a gap or anything, but it should be coming up soon, and we'll be watching that live. So yeah. If next week after this episode goes up, if there's not a new episode of Attack on Titan, that's why. I'll probably keep the Season 4 reactions to Sunday anyway, so yeah. But yeah, that is pretty much it. Like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and jump right into the final OVA of Attack on Titan. Here we go. Alrighty. That is the end of the OVAs. And what an ending that was. Oh, that... Wow. So, obviously, this was made before Season 4. Whoopsies. Sorry. Anyway. This was obviously made before Season 4, because it's the old animation studio that did Attack on Titan. Though I wonder how much of the manga was out when this came out, Because I don't know. I know that I think only within the last year has the manga finished. But I don't know how far along the manga was compared to this OVA. Because this is way more, this is crazy to watch, having seen only the first half of Season 4, Just going off of the first half of Season 4, this is almost tragic, Just seeing her complete devotion to Eren. And knowing where that will end up, And I don't even know where it goes, I'm sitting here having only seen the first 16 episodes of Season 4. And I don't know where it's going to be going. But just so far, just the fact, just seeing her so devoted to Eren, knowing that even if it's just even if it is to protect her, to see him drive her away, to know that he drives her away, treats her like garbage, casts her aside like nothing. That is honestly tragic. And I think that is something to be said about season 4, is that while it's not, season 4 is not my favorite season, like, at all. And I don't find Eren to be that compelling of a villain. But there is a certain degree of tragedy around the rest of the characters. Because honestly, I feel like we all kind of need to face facts that Eren is sort of, and I don't know, I'm sure some of you guys out there will have differing opinions, and that's completely fine. But to me, at least, Eren has never been the most interesting character. Like, especially, like, you go back to season 2, he's sidelined most of that season, you know? Even kind of a bit in the first half of season 3. Like, Eren gets sidelined so much because, honestly, every other character in this show is more interesting than he is. So making him the villain, I didn't think really worked, but it works in the fact that you're seeing what works about season 4 is all the other characters, because you see how they all have to deal with Eren now being the villain, you know? That's the thing. That's the thing, is that it's Eren himself, like, Eren alone is a decent character at best, but the reason he works is the story and the characters around him. He is a piece. He's basically, Eren is the MacGuffin of Attack on Titan, and everything around him is 10,000 times more interesting than he is. But weirdly enough, I almost feel like, yeah, that's the point. It does sort of feel like that's the point, that you're supposed to be watching every other character and how they deal with Eren. That is definitely it. He's the MacGuffin of the show. That's exactly it. But yeah, watching this, just that tragedy that you know will happen. And again, I still don't even know how it ends. Some of you guys, you know, you're probably already watching season 4 in the sub, so you've seen a couple episodes ahead of me. Some of you have probably already read the manga through to the end. So you honestly probably know how it ends. It probably gets more tragic, who knows? But I'm sitting here just on, you know, the furthest I've seen is season 4, episode 16. And I'm looking at this as a tragedy, you know? Wow, I can't believe I never thought about that, but that's exactly it, is that Eren Yeager is the MacGuffin of the show. What you're here for is how everyone interacts with that MacGuffin. That is exactly it. And then the MacGuffin becomes the bad guy at the end. But even still, that's exactly it. Wow. Okay, you know what, now that I've seen that, you know, watching these episodes, I will say, watching the OVAs, I've kind of started liking season 4 less, mainly because of Eren, because I was like, I don't care for Eren as a villain. I prefer Zeke, honestly. Zeke, like, I felt like works a lot better, and Eren, but then I was like, well, is it just Eren being a villain, or is it Eren in general? And honestly, it's Eren in general, you know, and even through to season 3, when he would have stuff was like, oh, I'm doubting myself, I don't know, am I really a savior? It's like, I thought we did this already in season 1, but that's not it. I shouldn't be focusing on Eren. I have to focus on everyone else, because he is a plot device. He is the reason that the plot moves forward, but the story is about everyone else. That is Attack on Titan. And maybe some of you guys will disagree with me, but that's now, especially after this episode, that is how I see it. Wow. You know, I feel like some of this is mandatory viewing, some of these OVAs. You know, I know actually that, I think like next month, Funimation is going to start dubbing the OVAs, which of course that's hilarious that they start dubbing the OVAs after I watch them all in the sub, but that's okay. I have enjoyed my time watching these in sub for the past 8 weeks. But I hope it does get dubbed because more people need to watch these, you know? Now some of them, like, okay, maybe the Sasha versus Jean cooking contest, maybe not. Even you could argue the 2 Annie episodes are not necessary, but definitely, without a doubt, the 2 episodes about Levi, and then now this episode about Mikasa, I almost feel like are mandatory viewing, just because it really does play into so much. I mean, Levi, just so you understand, the Levi episodes, just so you understand more about Levi, and they're just great pieces of television. And then this episode, just to get more in to Mikasa and Eren, you know? Like, man, this whole thing was just very, very interesting. And yeah, so a new timeline, which is interesting. Now, granted, it's not exactly a new timeline. They kind of pull a Mr. Robot, and no, it's more of just, it's in her head. But that was interesting, and I like how they tie it in that she had this just before she was saved by Bufford. So yeah. So that was really interesting, and just this whole thing of, you know, she's trying to make sure in this world, it's like she's trying to have everything she wants, you know, keep her parents alive and keep Eren, and it just does not work like that, you know? Even in her own mind, she has to face the truth of this cruel world, you know? But that was interesting. New timeline, her parents survive, which was nice, and that was interesting. And yeah, even, you know, the bandits, you know, they get killed by those dogs, and yeah, in her mind, she prevents those dogs from attacking them, you know, because this is her world. And yeah, her interactions with Eren were very interesting. I mean, Eren, you know, we even said this back in that original episode that showed Mikasa's backstory. It's like, man, Eren never changes, really. Like, Eren, even back then, you know, when Dr. Yeager's like, oh, now the Ackermans, they have a young daughter. Try to get along with her. And Eren's like, if she's nice, then there won't be a problem, or something. He says something stupid like that, and I remember in that episode, I was like, oh, good grief. Even back then, he had a chip on his shoulder about everything, you know? Like, whereas we go through this whole story about how Mikasa, you know, came to be, and she had this whole, you know, she literally had this, like, crazy change in her Ackerman, you know, blood activated and stuff. So they go into so much detail of how Mikasa is the way she is. Eren's just always been like that. He's just kind of always been an asshole, you know? So I kind of like that it's like there's no change in him, really, you know? Which is why Eren's never been that compelling a main character. But he's a MacGuffin. And the MacGuffin doesn't need to change that much, you know? That's why he always doubts himself, you know? Okay. But that's the thing. So, but yeah, seeing Eren, he's exactly the goddamn same. Which, that's the thing, too. I will say, like, I can understand why Mikasa would have such a connection to Eren. But it's one of those things that it's like, man, she has a connection with an asshole. Let's just all face facts. He's an asshole, you know? So, yeah, it's strange. It's very, very strange that this is sort of this is the connection, but you do understand it. And I like some of the moments where, like, they are just kind of talking normally, like, you know, when it's like, oh, do you know does Armin know where babies come from? And Eren was like, what? I know where babies come from. There's a bird that comes by and puts it in the mom, and there you go. It's like, I love, first off, they brought in the stork. I love that. That is hilarious that they brought in the stork. Which Dr. Yeager shows up, and then they don't ask Dr. Yeager. Like, well, come on. The whole point was to ask him about where babies come from, you know? Freaking parents. Oh, well. But yeah, so... But that was just a funny moment. It was kind of like a very real kid moment for Eren, where he's just like, oh, they come from the stork. I don't know. So that was funny. And I like how they sort of question it, like, well, how does the bird carry it? It's like, on its back. Well, the baby would fall. That's a good point. Like I love how they're really trying to go over the logic of how babies are born by a stork. Like that was really funny. I like that, and that was a good Eren moment. I did like that, seeing Eren just as a normal kid, and I like seeing Mikasa as a normal kid. You know, like her in that freaking adorable outfit. God, that was cute as a button. Ugh. But there was still the same moment with the scouts, which was interesting. Now I did sort of question. What was the change in the timeline that made the scouts disband, but it was just part of her fear, you know, because she saw the scouts and was like, oh my god, Eren's gonna be a part of that. No. So in this new world, she basically has the scouts disbanded, the wall is sealed, that's it, you know, but it still doesn't work. Eren and Armin were trying to build a hot air balloon to get over the wall. Good grief. And then there was the Mirror Man, the last piece of the Mikasa's true mind trying to get to her, you know? But I did like that too. Because at first it's like, what the hell is going on? But I like that this Mirror Man trying to get her to be a killer and stuff like that. And basically saying like, look, you cannot avoid this. You cannot avoid the true cruel world, you know? So I like that. That was very, very good. And yeah, just that whole thing, you cannot avoid Eren's death. Eren's death, you have to accept it. Now, of course, this is all in the moment where, yeah, actually Eren was alive, but she didn't know that, you know? So she had to accept it. And yeah, that was really good. And just the fact that it was a mirror mask and she just had to look at herself, you know, that was really, really good. And then, yeah, sure enough, it just doesn't work. And even in her own reality that she created, it doesn't work. Again, very, very Mr. Robot, actually. I hope that doesn't spoil anyone on that, but yeah, so that was very, very interesting. And yeah, he still ended up dying. And even when she meets Armin, it's exactly the same as the scene where he originally tells her, you know? But I like that, you know, it was all basically a dream, and she basically had to accept it, you know? She did. She accepted Eren's death. And then he came back the next episode anyway, because he was Buffered Sea Titan, but, you know. But yeah. And then at the end, probably the most poignant thing about this episode, Mikasa saying, no matter what Eren tries to do, he cannot be stopped. Nobody can stop him, and I will be by his side. And that, I feel like that has to be tested now, because again, I've been talking about season 4 in this episode, so I imagine you have seen the first half at least. Something has to be. I feel like that would be where we lead up to in season 4 at the end, is Eren being stopped. But I don't know. Maybe this'll be crazy and he won't be stopped. Maybe he wins at the end. I don't know. But those are the two things of Eren cannot be stopped and I will always be by his side. And that's the latter of which has failed, basically. But what about the former? Can Eren Yeager be stopped? Find out in Season 4, Episode 17 of Attack on Titan. Whenever it comes out in the dub, I will be there that next Sunday to react to it. So that is basically it. With all of that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around to any of those. There's a playlist for all of my Attack on Titan reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button, I'm really tripping over that recently, a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.